Good morning. Welcome back to Between Two Years. I think we're with Tony Young this morning. Good morning, Tony.
Morning, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing fantastic. I think this is episode 16 or 17, something like that. We're cranking them out. I did a little poll on my Instagram yesterday to see if people think I should just release them as I make them, which I've been doing, just kind of trying to get the ball rolling with the podcast,
Yeah.
or hang on to them and then release them once a week. So I think I'm going to start doing that, and so I probably will release you this week, and then somebody else next week. So you are this week's feature podcaster.
Awesome, dude. I was gonna say, you do you, man. It's your show. You release them whenever you want.
Yeah, I'm just having fun. It's like, and that's what this is. I've been wanting to talk to you for 2 years now. We've tried to connect.
I know. I think we met briefly at Ensika, but then it was like, thank you, Pop. Did you come to that one or no?
I did go to the pop-up, and I'm like, dude, and you're like, it's too many people right now.
I know. I had so many people like I want to have more in-depth conversations with, and like that as such, it's so chaotic.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole point of this. And who was it the other day? Somebody was saying, dude, thank you for doing this. Like, thank you for doing all this work. And I said, honestly, it's just fun for me.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you guys.
I think you're similar to me. Like, I don't have like a studio that I go to. Like, I don't have a community atmosphere, that where I'm talking with people clay all the time. But, so it's good to like sit down and chat with someone else that's like-minded. But
yeah, it surely is. When we tried to chat at Ensika, man, that one pop-up was at the Pot Stars.
Yeah. Which Ensika were we at again? We're talking
that was
last
Richmond.
one, Richmond?
Richmond.
Yeah, that one was busy. And that one was like a tight space with like, I think we had 18 or 20 artists.
Dude.
It was so nuts.
Dude, I felt like cattle. I was like, oh my God, get me out of here.
The Cincinnati one was a little bit better. It was still busy like that, but they had this big beer hall off of Rheingeist. And it was like a football field over there. So people could like flow in, flow out, and there was like space. And this one was just, you were either in or you weren't there, and it was just packed.
Yeah, that's where I met you first, was the Cincinnati one.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I thought I saw you there. I'm just wondering if I was getting people confused or.
No, that was me, but it was very brief because I went to that Rheingeist. You just reminded me, I forgot about that. I actually went there just to say hi to you, and you were swamped. Your table was like 4 people deep.
Yeah, it was. I did pretty well there selling.
I bet. What do you do? Do you ship all your work out there? Like when you go to a
No, like Richmond, I drove because it was about 8 hours. So if I can drive it, I want to drive because then I can bring my display stuff. I can like go all out. But like Salt Lake City is obviously I can't drive. I'm in Ohio.
Yeah.
So I am going to pay the $50 or whatever it is to do an extra suitcase, and I'm just going to pack it. I figured $50 on the way, $50 there. I sell 1 cup, whatever. Like,
you
I'm
pay
about
for
to pay for it.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, the bad thing is you just got to cross your fingers and hope nothing shatters. Like I try and take more safe work when I go. Like I won't take too many mugs because the handles scare me, and I'm going to package them like I'm shipping them. So
yeah. I've traveled a couple times to play some golf tournaments, and I remember sitting on the plane and looking out the window and just watching this guy throw my clubs. And I was like, dude.
Yeah. You know how much money is. Yeah.
It's like $4,000 worth of clubs.
Yep, exactly.
Just chucking them. I understand you're busy. I understand you have a lot of bags to do, but don't you recognize that that's a golf bag? Like, dude.
I had a ton in my carry-on. I think it was the year I went to Minnesota. And they made me like check, and I was like, no, you can't have this bag.
Yeah.
I did not want to give it to him. I was like, please don't take it.
Sir, what do you have in there? It's cups, okay?
Yeah, it's ceramics. I'm a ceramic nerd. Leave me be.
Yeah, that's badass. But yeah, so same thing with like, with galleries, it's like, I had a show a couple years ago and they wanted, 45 or 50 pieces. I'm like, man, that is terrifying to ship that out into the world.
It is. It's a lot, man. And then like, I feel like I pack really well and stuff now. I'm not too worried, but it's one of those things where I know back in the day I did not. And like some people aren't as good at packing as others, and they need a lesson on that. And yeah, it's scary, dude, putting your work in boxes.
I am not that good at packing. When I had a show at Charlie Cummings, I actually talked to Varian down there, and she's like, she sent me some like instructions on how to pack well.
Yeah.
I might buy one of those Ran Pack things. Charlie Teft was telling me about that. Have you seen?
Oh, is it like that shreds the paper or whatever?
Yeah,
Or like, yeah.
yeah, it's like
Or
a
the
box.
cardboardish.
Yeah, you just roll it up and it's in a box. Yep.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
I've seen those too. Those are interesting. I use a lot of like recycled stuff. My wife works at a dental office. She's a hygienist.
uh-huh.
So she like brings me home all of her mailing bubbles, and they get like stuff shipped there every day. And
Yep.
then I work at a school, and we get like supplies in constantly. So like I'm one of 6 full-time art teachers at my high school. Like, yeah, we're a big school, so it's like they get stuff in. They know that like I'll take their bubbles, so they bring me their bubbles and they're packing material. And dude,
Wow.
I just save and save. So I use that, and then I also go buy some peanuts, and I have like some paper I jam in there. But it's like I try and use a lot of recycled materials and like save and whatever. I know I can write stuff off at the end of the year, but I'm also like I'm going to try and reuse as much crap as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're just trying to fill space,
Yeah, exactly.
I bought like a paper shredder a couple years ago, but it was like one of those heavy duty ones. I got it on Facebook Marketplace for like $20.
Yeah,
And it's one of those heavy duty ones, so I can put my, you get your recycled like soda cases and it just shreds it right up.
and you
And
use that.
I tried to use that, but it's kind of ghetto. It's
Too heavy.
no, it's kind of heavy, and it was like it just shreds it into little pieces. It wasn't very
Oh,
functional as a spacer, I would say. But
yeah, you needed to create like cushion and not just
yeah,
mass.
yeah, it's exactly what it was. It was like a blob of cardboard on the bottom.
Cardboard's not exactly light either.
So you said you're one of 6 full-time art teachers?
Yeah, man, I'm
Wow.
pretty lucky. And then where I'm at, like, just a really great crew. We have a good community. I mean, we just got our numbers back for next year, and every teacher's got like full slots. And it's almost 2,000 kids in our school, so we have a big school. But I'm one of 4 high schools in my district as well.
Wow.
So within that, we have 6 art teachers. I think one of the other high schools has 6, but the other ones only have like 5. So we like garner 6 because our numbers dictate that, and they give us 6 if we need it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome, man. And our kids are just really good. They're so talented.
Does your class kind of focus specifically on ceramics or?
Yeah, I teach just ceramics, and I think I had, what did I have? 13 sections this year, which I can't even teach all those, so I had to pass them to another teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then this next year I have 12 sections because one of my ceramic ones dropped off. So like, which is totally fine because it's almost too big.
Yeah.
And then I teach just ceramics, dude. We have jewelry, we have photo, we have digital animation, we have painting, drawing.
That's better than most colleges.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, like I just went up to Bowling Green, which is my alma mater,
Uh-huh.
and I did like a demo up there this Wednesday this week. And I was talking to somebody, and they were like, "Man, your kids are like as good as half our college kids here." And like, I mean, in the end, like it is like a mini college kind of like, and we treat it like that. I mean, we almost teach. Dude, I'm doing projects that like I'm stealing from university, professors and anybody I see that like they're doing something interesting. I'm like, my kids can do that.
Yeah, let's
Like
do that.
I don't ever look at it as it's like above their skill level. I'm like, if I can teach it, they can do it. Like,
Wow, yeah, what a great thing to hear from a teacher too. And how it's funny, I don't think those kids know right now how blessed they are to have someone like that teaching them. I mean, they're getting like life skills, learning how to do more difficult stuff. They're going to go into college and be like, this is easy.
yeah, we actually like when our kids come back. So we have like an art club, Arts in Action it's called, and like we'll have artists come in and speak and whatnot. We'll bring different local like Columbus, Ohio artists come in and talk to the kids. I gave a talk, like each of the teachers has almost gave a talk at some point, and it's one of those things where it's like we have former kiddos come back. One of our favorite things to like ask them is like, how do you feel leaving our program and going to Ohio State, Bowling Green, or SCAD? They get on a Savannah College of Art and Design. We send kids all over the place, so it's like,
Yeah.
and they're always like, they're almost bored. Like especially when they go, it's like going backwards. First year art college, You go to
Yeah.
art college, it's all these intro classes and
Yeah.
they're like going back and doing a color wheel again, and I mean that's tough. I mean for any kid, let alone like our kids are working
Yeah.
very very conceptual and doing some like high level work once they get to the end of the senior year.
Yeah, I almost went. I went to Alfred, but I went to Alfred for theater, right? And it's too funny because everyone thinks because I went to Alfred, that's how I became a potter.
Yeah, and you know.
I learned about ceramics when I got there because I didn't have it in high school. Either that or I was too much of an idiot stoner knucklehead to pay attention.
Yeah,
There probably was ceramics, but I was playing football and baseball and
yeah.
it was doing everything except art, which is kind of ironic how it comes back around. But you know, I,
You found it eventually.
yeah, I found it at like 30 years old.
Yeah,
So it's pretty wild, but I love it. I don't want to do anything else. I mean, one of the another reason for this show is because I'm just trying to, right now, 54 years old, I'm trying to build a retirement in ceramics.
yeah,
Not something that I can make a living off of. That's pretty rare for a potter, I think. But
yeah. You
so
gotta either create such a demand or a big name for yourself, or mass produce to the point where like that's not my style. Like,
no, it's no fun at that point.
yeah, like, and I
Yeah,
don't see the big name happening for hardly anyone. So it's like, yeah,
yeah.
you can make some fun money, but that's about it.
Yeah, so that's what I just wanted to be able to have a couple of bucks on the side, maybe teach some workshops here and there. I mean, I think I'm a lot like you. I like people. I love to travel and shoot the shit with people.
Yeah,
So in person workshops for me are just so fun.
yeah, I enjoy that too, man. I know, like, I don't know, just sitting down and actually getting people to ask me questions and they're right there with me instead of like, I mean, I've done some online ones and it's fine, but
Yeah.
it's not as personal, so you don't get that like connection.
Yeah, I noticed you just did one for Picosin Arts, right?
Yeah, I did an online one in the, I don't know, fall, and I'm doing a summer workshop. I'm actually going down there this summer, so
Okay, sweet. I was supposed to do one 2 weeks ago, and it
yeah,
got only a couple of people signed up. And she said, "You wanna keep doing it?" I said, "If it's not worth it for you guys, then I'm fine canceling it. Let's wait till we get 10, 15, 20 people."
yeah. Like I
So
had my first one was loaded. Like I had like 30, I think.
really, yeah,
So it was like I had a ton sign up, and then my second one wasn't close to as many, but it was like still good, But it was like, um, yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you run it for two, you're not going to make much. They're not going to make much.
yeah. So let's try it again the other day. But when I talked to the lady, I said, "Look, I'm much better in person. I would much rather come down there and hang out for a couple of days and fill the class."
Yeah.
Like my Aramont one, I taught down in Gatlinburg there at Aramont.
Yeah.
That had 12 ladies in it, and it was all week long, and it was a blast.
I think your work too. Like, what were you teaching more hand building or hand building and surface? Like
Hand
all of
building,
it.
surface, terracage, we kind of covered it all.
Yeah, I think those things lend better to like being in person too.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I mean, even my stuff, like everything lends better to being in person. but I'm
Sure.
demoing in front of people and I'm like, can you guys see that? Like I'm like constantly like holding stuff
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
It's tough. Like I hope they get something out of it. Even just listening to us talk, like I hope they can pull and figure it out. And I always tell people too, like I'm an open book. Like I'm not a gatekeeper, and
Yeah,
I'll let you know. Like DM me, like message me anytime. A year from now, I don't care. Like I'll help you
absolutely.
out.
Yeah. I tell people that too. Just ask. Dude, one lady asked me a question the other day, and I answered her, right? But I guess I didn't hit send. It didn't go through. And, I'm a pretty busy guy. I got kids and I got family. And
Yeah.
she sends me a message like a day later, like, at least have the decency to answer. I was like,
Oh, I think you posted that, didn't you, or
dude,
something?
I was mad as hell.
It's
I
like,
wrote a message back, and my wife's like, "You can't send that."
yeah, I know, man. It's like the internet. It's again, it's faceless, so people are like sometimes short, rude, all the things.
I was like,
It's
"How dare you?" I was like, "I did answer you."
Yeah, I know, and it's like also nobody owes me an answer if I ask them a question. If they do, that's great. Like I don't get upset about it. Sometimes people just miss it, and the algorithm doesn't show you stuff, or it pops up and you swipe and you don't even see it, or.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, most people so far have been pretty receptive to being on this show. I got a couple of people that just ghosted me. like,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I
like
call
that's
that getting big leagued.
yeah, right.
You get big leagued. They
Yeah,
just
yeah,
blow you off, man.
yeah. It's like, how dare you? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, when
But
I was up at Bowling
whatever.
Green on Wednesday, I told the kids, I was like, you guys, if you message someone and ask them something and they don't respond, like don't get frustrated and like not message more people. Like message the next person. Message like if you have questions, don't be afraid of like, oh, they'll never answer me. Dude, I answer every single DM that I get. I answer every if I see it, I'm answering it. And sometimes I get caught in like my whatever, my trash box or whatever on Instagram even, but eventually I find it usually and I'll like respond back. So it's like
Yeah.
go for it. Like what do you got to lose in the end?
Dude, I learned by asking questions.
For sure.
Because when I went to Alfred, I met all these superstar potters back in the day that were like,
Yeah.
Val Cushing and John Gill were just friends of mine.
Yeah.
So and Freddie
That's awesome.
Fredrickson, who was a great kiln builder, I spent hours and hours and hours in his office. He's probably like, dude, I'm way too busy to talk to you right now.
Yeah, who are you? You're not even in ceramics.
Yeah. But I'm like, I got questions. Sit your ass down. So we would just, chat and now they're good friends of mine. And
Did you even do any ceramics while you were there? No. No, that's funny. That's
no,
awesome.
like I said, I almost went back to school to become get a ceramics degree. My
Yeah.
buddy Pete, who graduated from there, he says, you're already making and selling ceramics. Why would you go back to school for it?
Yeah. I would say the only difference would be is it would just be this like dedicated time
Yeah.
where you would go and you would just lock in.
Yeah.
That's where like for me to potentially go back and get my MFA ever, like I've thought about it, which
Yeah.
I'm not gonna now. I'm like my kids are at this like spot in life and I'm at this spot in life and I do like teaching high school. So in the end, what am I doing with this? Like, am I just going to get the degree to say I have it? Like,
Yeah.
whatever, man. Like, I can explore on my own. It'd be nice to have like a year or two, but am I going to just tell my wife I'm gone?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think so. So,
I just saw the other day on Instagram, Josh Kopus. You know Josh
yeah.
from North Carolina there? He was in the...
Yeah, I was watching the little excerpt you had posted just today on that.
Yeah, he just did some sort of big sculptural thing, and him and Billy Ritter there. Billy's from Ohio, I think. Right?
Oh yeah, dude, I saw that. Where were they at doing that? Is that in?
I don't know, but I'm like, dude, I would kill to do that.
Yeah.
You give me 2 pallets worth of clay in 3 months.
And they got like a wood kiln that's in. It's at least sheltered. I don't know if it's not
huge.
indoors.
Yeah, it's inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign
I was
me
like,
up.
how'd you guys do that without burning the place down? They must have that thing like.
Yeah. So, but I'm like, dude, I would make some crazy fun giant ass sculptures if I had the time to like that,
Yeah, that's where like. So I left college in 2005, graduated. I think I was just starting to find my voice a little bit, making these. I did like these ceramic trophies, which hardly anybody even knows I made them because they would know me more as like a potter now.
Yep.
And I started like making something that I felt like was actually, I don't know, worthwhile or interesting to people and myself. And it's like, then I don't know, dude. It was just one of those things where like I wish I could go back. Now I have so much interest and so much energy and like I could just make things and throw in the wood kiln and the sodas and all these kilns and now I'm like, no, I got an electric. So I made do with what I have, but like I've got so many ideas to go like play in all those kilns and do different things, but it's all good. I mean, there's opportunity out there. You just got to go find it.
Yeah, I'd love to go do a 6-month or a year residency somewhere, probably when my kids get a little bit older, but
yeah.
Right now, if I make like I made this big giant head thing right here the other day, it's like, it's going to be fun. It's a big silly sculpture. I did this giant bottle the other day, but that headpiece, I could have made 50 mugs out of that.
Yeah. Clay wise, yeah.
I got 4 pieces in the kiln. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not completely worth it. And then if I don't like it, I got to wedge all that up. And
yeah. Are you, you're just buying your clay too, right? Like,
yeah, I buy it by the box. Yep.
Yeah, same. I mean,
yeah.
I had kids at BG asking me like, "What's this glaze? What's this?" I'm like, "Dude, all industry standard. I'm using. I mean, I know you're probably making your terracage and stuff, but it's like, um, yeah, I'm using what's convenient for me, and I have found a way to make it work, and I'm fine with that. Like some people like frown at that.
Yeah.
There's all the different, genres of potters, the different factions of them, but
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, if you're a chemist and you want to make your own glazes, that's freaking cool as hell.
that's
Oh,
my
there you
little
go.
guy I'm working on.
That's badass.
That was the dude that I printed up at BG, and it printed way too dark, so I like scraped the eyes out and painted them back yellow, and so I'm always doing different stuff too.
Sick. I want to decorate one of your big ducks. If you want to if you ever
Oh
get
yeah, man.
if you have an extra duck.
Do you need it like this fired?
Yeah, I can do bisque because
Okay?
I've been doing all this kind of floral stuff lately. You notice these big
Yeah, man.
kind of dotted crazy floral. I think that would be fun on a duck.
Is the one in your left hand, is that like a ceramic tile you made?
It's like a tray.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome, dude.
Isn't that fun? So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I might see I've been messing with clear, right?
Yeah.
One of the reasons I do terracage is I've never liked that surface.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is way cooler to me than that.
I like the matte too. I mean, even the collab piece we did, I left the bottom matte because I was like, I don't want to put a clear on this brown clay. Like it looks so good like this. And
yeah, that's a cool.
There's some of my work I leave matte. If I put underglaze on the outside and like this piece actually has like white to it of the bisqueware. So I'm gonna clear glaze this.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times, dude, if I've covered the whole thing, as long as I line the inside and I've got enough coming over the edge to like give people a nice place for their lip to rest, like I like leaving the surface matte. I think it looks good.
Yeah. You know what I've been messing with, and some people love it, some people hate it. Meg Yarnell, actually, she said to say hi to you.
Yeah, she's my buddy.
She's a freaking blast. I love her.
She came down Wednesday to my like demo at Bowling Green, and like she took a day off school or a half day, and she came down and watched because she lives right there.
Used to heckle you from the back.
Yeah. As soon as she walked in, I heckled her. I was like, I'm gonna get her first.
Oh, that's too funny. I had Kevin Kowalski on the other day, and she's like, "Tell him I love his hair." I love her. She seems like a big sister, man. She seems like
no, she's a little sister that I never wanted. That's what I always say.
Oh, that's too funny. But I was telling her, now like with this jar, I'll glaze the inside of that.
Yeah.
And then I like the matte exterior, but I
like it too, dude.
Thank you.
I like it.
Liquid quartz.
She uses that, I think, now.
She said she used it once and then fired it off all of her pieces.
Really?
Yeah,
she didn't like it.
She hated it. So
I have not talked to her about it, so.
Big picture the other day. That is big.
Yeah, that's all. Dude, see, I love the matte look, especially with terracage. I mean, it's supposed to be matte, I feel like.
Yeah, so I'm kind of playing with both. Like, I want to leave terracage and then, blast it with underglaze flowers. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
But
I feel like with terracage, it's just got that matte vintagey look that's good. And I mean, underglaze, I'll tell you my worry, like when there's sometimes I screen print these and I'll bisque fire it on before I usually clear glaze, or if I like liner glaze finish it. And sometimes this gets like a little flaky. I don't know if it's the mixture. Mm-hmm. So if I'm totally fine with it, good. But when it comes out and I've got a couple little flakes, if it like didn't secure on, I'm like, I'm gonna clear glaze that just to
hold it in place. Yeah,
seal it down and make sure we aren't I'm sending stuff to people and it's chipping off.
Yeah, I would say try some of the liquid quartz on your exterior. I heard about it first from Sarah Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, she does all underglaze on her exteriors, and she just liquid quartzes everything. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let's try that. And it says on their website that it's food safe and cutlery safe.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that feels, I don't know.
I want it to be, but I wouldn't let my kids eat off of it.
Yeah, like do you trust it? I mean,
no.
I don't know, man. Who's reviewing that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Rose and Matt Katz.
I don't think I know them.
They do ceramic materials. They're like the glaze gurus. Actually, Matt used to work at Alfred, and Rose and I used to work in the tile factory. So they're like talking about making your own glazes. They are like super smart when it comes to glazes. So I messaged her and I said, what do you think of this liquid quartz? And she said, it's meant to seal countertops.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It feels like a sealer. That's it.
Yeah. So it's great, I think, for the exterior. And if I make it on a platter, like if I put it on the exterior of this dish,
yeah,
sure, you can put like rolls and stuff on it, but I wouldn't cut steak on it.
Yeah, like it prevents damage.
Yep.
But it's not, I don't know. I don't feel like it's sealing it from the surface.
Yeah. No. So anyway, so still messing with that. But yeah, I'd love to decorate a duck.
Yeah, dude. I can send you a big one.
I want to floralize a duck.
I just had a guy message me on Etsy literally just a day or two ago, and he goes, hey, could you make a bigger duck even than the big duck? And I'm like, Jesus, man.
How big are we talking here? Yeah.
How big are we going with these ducks?
Yeah. How would you scale that up? I mean, is that a mold?
Yeah. So like the little duck is a kid's bath toy. I made a mold.
Yep.
Then I just wanted a bigger duck. So like I literally went on Amazon, found a bigger duck, ordered one from Jeff Bezos, had it sitting in my room at school for, I bet, a year. Like I bought it in the intentions of making a mold. Yep. And then some kid was like, why do you have that duck here? And they just kind of made me tell them the story and guilted me and said, you need to do that. So then the next day I literally started making the mold. The kid just like kind of prodded me and I was like, I should make this. Why have I not done this? So yeah, I mean, I just made my own mold of that big ass duck. And then, we just need a bigger duck. And I'm like, this is getting out of control because shipping that already, do you use USPS boxes?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're free. So it's like, there's so many people that don't know that. So I'm always like, dude, you get the boxes for free. Yeah, whatever the like 10 by 12 by 9 one is, it barely fits in that. Like, I'm kind of pushing it, putting it. So I'm like, okay, if I get a bigger one, now we got to like up the box. And like, people don't think about those things when they start making shit. Like, hey, if you think about selling this, you're going to have to ship it now.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass for something. So.
Shipping in itself is a total pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is.
I made all shipping on my website like $15, I think, per item. I mean, I lose money on the bigger stuff, and I kind of break even on the mugs.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's such a pain in the ass to try to.
You're East Coast too, so everything's going.
Yeah.
Like West Coast probably crushes you.
Yeah. I sent something to, where the heck did it go? Oh, I don't know. It cost me like $65 in shipping. My good Lord, man. Well, and that's what I was telling somebody about this bowl that I made. I'll show you this trough that I made here. Hold on. Oh gosh. I've been doing these like big trophy tray things.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a big boy.
It's a big centerpiece. It's probably 22 inches long. It's kind of crazy, crazy flowers.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, but shipping that.
Dude, exactly. So if I was to sell this for $250, if I put it in a gallery, right, they're getting half of that, and it's going to cost me $50 to ship it.
Yeah, you're making nothing.
Yeah, I'm making $75 off of 9 hours worth of work.
Yeah, I know, man. Like I've been really reluctant to do much with galleries too much anymore. If I do, it's like I don't mind shipping people like 4 to 6 pieces or something. Like I did the Charlie Cummings drop. It's been a year or two now since I did mine.
Yeah.
And like I've enjoyed them as a gallery. They do everything right and they're great people. So like I don't really mind that. But I've been asked to send work to here and there, and I'm like, Yeah. Sometimes I'm cool with it, but other times I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just going in the hole, and it's tough.
Yeah, Charlie Cummings does a really good job. I have a bunch of pieces with them, but and then also I think sometimes work kind of sits in those galleries and doesn't. Like my work is constantly evolving. I'm always playing on it. So my work from 2 years ago is really different.
You get it back if it doesn't sell, and then you're like, great.
Now
I got this old shit. Now
here's your seconds back.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've done that too. Like, I got it back, and I'm like, man, my new work is so much more in depth and advanced than this. Like,
Yeah.
this look like no one's gonna buy this because it looks so old. Or
Yeah. So how you got a collection of pots? You got a collection from different potters?
oh yeah, I probably have 120 cups upstairs. I bet.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah,
I just built that shelf up in my, or had a guy build it for me, and
yeah, I gotta
it
get a
holds,
shelf.
it's awesome, but it holds like 30 mugs. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna need 3 of those.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
have the wall space.
Yeah, I'm more worried about my kids running out the door and slamming it, and like where I want to put a shelf right now is just like I could just see them like hitting the ground, and I'm crying.
Dude, my stepson is 13, and he's like I think his real dad, my wife's first husband died at a really young age of cancer.
Okay.
I think his dad was like 6'4". So
Yeah.
he's like a Dalmatian puppy. He's like tall and he doesn't know what his limbs are doing yet.
He hasn't grown in his body yet. Yeah.
No, he's gonna go boom. He's gonna be huge. But he's emptying the dishwasher, and I'm like, dude, that's an $80 mug. Like,
Yeah.
easy now. Clank, 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 clank. I'm like, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
dude. Like my kids actually get stuff out, but I just have them put it on the counter. I'm like, okay, sit right here. And then I've got a couple cups that like I've got my Peter Pincus cup that I got on his waiting list. I got a cup. That's in a whole other cupboard. That's like, that's for special occasions. Like I don't even want to have a second drink and have it in that cup because I'm like, God, if I drop this thing, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about how much you paid for that after the show.
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
Oh, okay. Pete Pincus went to Alfred.
Oh yeah, okay.
My friend Sean is him and Pete are really good buddies. I messaged Pete a couple years ago. Hey man, I want a mug, and he said, "Get on the list, man." It was like a 6-year waiting list.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 months.
Okay.
But it was like out of nowhere. He'd just be like, "Hey, I got some cups ready. You ready?" Like he would do this. He would do like a FaceTime conference, and you get to pick your cup off a wall, which is like
that's cool.
Something I personally don't want to do. No offense. I don't want to talk to people and be like, which cup do you want? Like, I don't want to like be holding them up and doing all this, but like, I think he likes that like interaction, and it was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. His stuff. His stuff is amazing.
It's insane. Like super clean, dude. Like I'm so loose with my work. Like to be that tight around the whole thing is like just nuts. Like
just his plaster molds are artwork.
True. Yeah.
So I think what he does is he paints the underglaze on the plaster and then pours it.
And then it sticks. I think like Kelly B. Justice. I don't know if you know her. She does that too.
Yeah.
There's a handful of artists that work that way. Which, I mean, when I first started using molds at this workshop, I remember one person I was there with. She's like, "Yeah, you can just like squirt glaze into them, and then like you cast." And then it's on them, like underglaze or whatever. And like you could splatter paint on the inside and then like pour. And I was like, what? Like I didn't know you could do this.
Yeah. I remember when I first looked at Pete's stuff and I was like, how is he getting those lines so tight? You know? And then I saw how he did it. I said, oh, that's freaking brilliant.
Well, yeah, now it makes sense. I mean, that's the amazing thing about like Instagram and everything. You get to see how people work more now. Like this was you were just in the dark, like, even 15 years ago, like you didn't know how they were doing what they were doing, which I think was some of the mystery of like why you just loved their work so much because you didn't know how it was made or whatever. But
yeah. It's kind of like this show we were just talking about. I like this part because I think people want to kind of watch us make stuff while we shoot the show.
Yeah.
I actually wrote down trophies here. You had mentioned you were making trophies for a while.
Yeah.
Being a golf pro and an artist, which is, athlete and artist usually don't go together.
Yeah. Well, I was probably in the same boat, man.
My buddy, he said, dude, you should make trophies for like men's club championship stuff. He said, you would sell the hell out of those things. And I thought about it. I really would, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I know, man. You got to be like into it. Like everyone's always suggesting things. Like I literally went on vacation with my brother's side of the family.
Yeah.
And this old guy's like, he's like, you know what? You should make these mugs. I got one at home. It's got boobs on it. And I'm like, I'm not making a mug with boobs on it. Like he's like, but they're great. You got they're boob. I'm like, that's awful. Like, no, I'm not making that. Or like somebody tells me to make, like I live in Ohio, so they're like, you should make Ohio State Buckeye mugs. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, do you not see what I do? I
Yeah.
just laugh at people. I kind of blow them off kindly and move
Yeah.
on. But
I made those F this mugs a couple of weeks ago. Did you see those?
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Let's go back and look.
Let me see if I got one here. I'll show you. That was just fun. I call them morning mugs because it's like that's how I feel in the morning. Leave me alone. I'm like, see, it says F this on it.
I love that, dude.
And I put them downtown. I put them at a cafe here downtown, and they sold me that.
Do you drop a lot of work there?
For this, or do I sell it at the cafe? You said
cafe, yeah.
No, I just put 6 or 7 mugs. But honestly, it's like the old ladies at the golf course.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to them, and they, people say, "What do you do in the winter?" And I said, "Well, I'm a ceramic artist and a potter." And then you show them some pictures, and they go, "Oh, that's better than I thought it was going to be."
Well, they don't know what that means, man. Like,
yeah.
I always tell people, like, I make decent money selling my work, and they'll be like, "Oh, wow, like you make that?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, man, I make work, I sell it. Like, you can make money doing this." And there's there's an underground for everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who collect trains. There's people who collect pocket knives. There's people who collect anything, man. Pezzes, Pez dispensers. Like, it's just, there's people who collect cups, So it's one of those, like, you got to just find your niche and you can market to it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to make some of these that my wife's like, you should make a bunch of these that just say Naples, New York on them.
Yeah.
And sure, I would sell them out like probably instantly, but I don't want to do that.
You're making it to sell then.
Yeah.
You're making it because the market and they'd probably purchase it and just so you can make some money. I have a hard time with that too. Like, it's not that I feel like it's wrong. It's just I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to make stuff I'm excited about.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's it. I'm in here kind of experimenting and trying to find cool ways to make cool pots. I don't know. And I don't have to do, like you said, I don't have to do this for a living. I'm very lucky to have a job.
Yeah.
Like, if this was my only means of, income, I'd make a ton of Naples mugs.
Yeah.
And I'd sell.
You would go more the mass production route. Like, even my buddy Isaac Shue, like out in Kansas.
Yep.
He just, he's like, "Well, Tony, I can make this mug in 1 minute on the wheel. I do this design on it, which doesn't take me much time, and I sell the mug for $25 or $30.
Yep.
And he's like, or I can do my wall mugs, which they're awesome. That's like his signature type mug. He goes, and I sell them for like 140 or 150. He goes, but I could have made 40 of the other mug in that same time. And it's like, you do the math, and if you're trying to make money off it, which he's like, so he still does his thing at some points in time, but he also has to do the like, make the money bread and butter thing too, which
sure. Yeah.
I get it, dude. If I was like just trying to make cash and like I would move quick, I'd probably move into mold making more. Like, and
you'd probably have time for this podcast right now.
Yeah. Like, I'm just in the mode of like, I can't throw fast enough. So me sitting down on the wheel, and I am not an Isaac Shue or like Rebecca Otis. Like, these people can sit down and throw like 50 cups in an hour. I can't do that. Nope. Not even close. Like, if I got 8 done, I'd be happy.
Dude, mine, honestly, my number now is 12.
12 in an hour?
Well, just 12. Like, I'll just throw it.
You just get a batch of 12, and you're like, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, because my back hurts, Same, I feel like an old man. I'm like, oh, God. And then they got to sit there.
I throw 8 to 10. I don't really throw a ton. Like, people think, like, I throw all the time, and I'm like, nah, man. Like, that's why I slip cast my tumblers. Like, I've got, the one I've been holding up, like, these are slip cast.
Yeah.
So this was an old Pizza Hut cup, and I literally just turned it upside down in a box form, poured plaster over it, pulled it out. That's my mold, dude.
Dude, that's badass. I might have to mess around with that. I'm so bad with plaster. I'm the worst. And my buddy Sean, he's like, dude, it's just 2 to 1. It's the easiest thing in the world. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not.
I wouldn't even do the 2 to 1. Like, you could do that, but like I do the island method where like I've got a good gauge of how much I need.
Yep.
So like, say I've got a bucket that's 12 inches tall and 8 inches around. Like, I'll fill it up like halfway with water, and I just keep pouring plaster directly in the center, like sift it in till it's an island above. Yeah. And then when it is, I mix it.
Yeah, see, that's what my buddy says. He's like, that's all you gotta do. I'm like, dude, it doesn't work for me.
Ah!
I make such a mess, dude. It leaks all over the place. I try to seal
you
it. And
gotta you gotta make sure. That's probably the biggest thing. I did a workshop with Calvin Ma, and that's when I made the what you call it, the duck mold. I was starting to get into mold making a little bit because I wanted to do a project with my high school kids with slip casting.
uh,
Uh, so, anyways, it's like we walked out of this one side room where we were making all these molds. It was me and like 10 other people in this workshop, or 15. And then we came back in this one, and we're supposed to like watch your mold for a little while, especially at the beginning. Like, you better monitor that thing in case there's a leak.
yeah.
And this one lady's just exploded everywhere. I mean, it was the biggest one of everybody's too. And it was like plaster disaster just all over the floor. And it was like,
It's such a mess. Pretty much every time I've tried, it ends in me picking it up, running out the door, and throwing it into the yard.
So I would do something smaller. If you do it in, like, I'll use a plastic or a cardboard box sometimes even. I use that as my form, and I will duct tape around it and use that.
Oh, that's
that way
easy.
no plaster can get out. That's worked well. But I'll put clay in the bottom, usually to like sink my piece in or whatever I do. Doing something smaller would probably be beneficial for you. Like if you're trying to make something big, more risk.
Yeah.
I'll build my walls with junk clay sometimes. Like I've got like recycled shit clay that I'm like, whatever, I can't throw this, so I'm gonna like.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to de-air it. I don't have a pug mill, so like I'll use it for like either some hand building stuff, or I use it to build walls for like a mold.
Yeah.
And then I let them set really leather hard to where there's like almost no way anything's gonna burst out of that, and then I'll use that.
Yeah, I have to just do it one time with somebody, and then once I get a feel for it, I think But then the problem is, then I'm going to start casting everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's got its pros and cons. See, that's where like I don't ever want to go one way or the other. I don't ever want to like. I like variety. Like I don't want to walk away from the wheel. I don't want to like slip cast all my cups. But doing both gives me like a good mix of things and feels and. So.
Yeah. I like each cup to be individualistic. You know, each piece is individualistic. You know,
for sure.
I shave them the same. I shave them different. I make them different. You know, except for my bases, those butts that I made a couple years ago. These things, these.
Oh
these,
yeah.
They give me a consistent bottom, and it's Bis. You know, it's Bis. I can't fuck that up.
That's kind of like Mark Arnold made those for his. So he would just smush his clay in to get that weird look he gets on the bottom. That's awesome.
Yeah. So this was my first iteration of a Mark Arnold base 7 years ago. See how good I am with plaster?
Yeah, you broke it. Hey, eventually, dude, that's not you. Like they deteriorate.
Yeah. Well, so this, I mean, I could scratch this plaster still 6 years later, but with bisque, it's like, you know, it's never going to mess up.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's where I got the idea. It was Mark Arnold.
Yeah, his little method of doing that to get that look that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And what's that?
He's not making much pots anymore.
I don't know, man. He's down in the like Carolina somewhere, and I think his wife is a doctor. I'm not sure if he's teaching or I haven't talked to him in a while. Every once in a while we message each other because he's a Steelers fan and I'm a Browns fan, so we just talk shit. Which basically I'm the laughing stock, and his team's actually kind of been decent.
Yeah, I thought he was down in Pittsburgh because I see him always posting stuff about the Pittsburgh.
Well, that's where he's originally from.
Gotcha.
So I think he just draws a lot of influence from there, obviously. And
I'm going to teach a workshop actually in Wilmington in a couple. It's coming up quick. First weekend in April. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You know, I was booking it at the end of last summer, and the owner of the golf course. Hold on, dog. The owner of the golf course. She's pushy. Hang on.
Oh, you're fine now.
Go on. Here. See you later. So the owner of the golf course was standing right next to me, you know, and I said, "Look, I'm booking this workshop for next April."
Yeah.
Like, I need to know if you're going to try to open this golf course early. You can't be like, "Hey, we're opening." And I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm in North Carolina." Like, I need to know now, you know? Yeah. He's a buddy of mine. It's nice to work. It's good and bad to work for a buddy, you know?
Yeah. You guys can at least be honest with each other and
figure
it out.
Yeah, he's cool. His daughter goes to school with my stepdaughter. I mean, I can look out my studio window right here and I can see the school. It's right down the street.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
You're
we're really
you're
lucky.
close to lots of things then in life.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It's like I'm in town, but I'm surrounded by the woods too. So the
Yeah.
house is kind of tucked away. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Is your studio in
You got
house? Did you like build on, or what did you do? You just got a room that you took over, or?
no, so dude, this space is amazing. My wife bought this house 8 or 10 years ago, and the
Okay.
guy who owned it was the old shop teacher, and he had a crazy wood shop in here. He used to make boats in this space.
Okay.
Well, I guess it was like a two-car garage that was added on to his basement, but the basement isn't really like a basement. It's more of like the first floor of the house,
Yeah.
and we mostly, live up in the second floor. But
So you just reinvented that space. That's
it's
awesome.
huge. And so the other half of this, even if I turn this computer for you here, look, watch. The other half of this room, that's my wife's wood shop over there.
Oh man,
Yes.
dude, that's a good space.
Yes, dude, it's huge. So she's got she owns a frame shop. She does framing.
Okay.
She's got
Interesting.
all frame and wood and all sorts of things to mess with over there. And we're trying to get her a shop downtown where she has a frame shop. So if we do that, we take this little wall out in between the two, and I have a really big studio.
Then you sprawl.
Yeah, then I don't know where I left everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So do you fire at your house?
Yeah, I got a Scut barrel kiln sitting right there, KM 1027. Great little kiln.
Yeah. That's what I got, man.
Yeah, they're powerhouses, dude. Like, when you hit that review button, it'll tell you how many firings you have.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if mine's new enough to do that. Mine's pretty old.
Do you have a digital box on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
If you just hit that review button, it goes through and it says hold, 10,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. The last one will say firing and it'll say a total number.
So it says like how many firings you have left. It's gauging that.
How many you've fired?
You have fired. Okay.
Yeah. How many left would suck, wouldn't it? Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're counting down.
Yeah.
That'd be hard to gauge because they don't know what temp you're going to each firing hour. But I'll have to do that, dude. Like, I have no idea how mine went through. Mine came from an old school. So mine was like a school, I think, built a new school. So you got to get new shit when they do that, blah, blah. So they went up for auction. And some guy bought it. I bought it from him on eBay like 6 years ago. So
Nice. Yeah. Text me later what the number is. I'd love to know. Mine right now on one set of elements is like 280.
wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
That's insane. Like, I just switched mine out after 4 years because I was just getting a little worried and they were getting a little curved and, whatever. I didn't really have any errors or anything, but I'm like, you know what? It's just time. I'm going to switch them out. I probably could have went how many more firings? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Because, dude, I'm firing maybe 3 times a month max.
Oh, okay.
Like, dude, I don't fire that often. And I sneak things in at school here and there. Like, I'll work on something that's at school. I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll throw in that bisque with my 1,000 things my kids are making. So,
Yeah. I got new elements sitting on top of my cabinet right there just for when they go. I got elements. I just bought last week. I bought the new the switches, the relay switch, and I have another thermocouple up there just for when you come down. It says error code.
yeah.
No.
Dude, it's almost always the thermocouple. I replaced that at school, and like they worked right away after that. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, I always am like scared it's this or that, or it's something simple.
Yep. I've been making these tray things. Like, I just started making these the other day.
Yeah, dude, those are awesome.
So it's gonna be fun. This is like a tangerine porcelain slip that I made.
Are you just doing? Is that like a vinyl resist that you're doing the floral pattern there? Paper? Just are you cutting it?
Yeah. So for years, I stayed away from everything cricket for years because I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's like, it's too crafty. It's not what I want to do. I'll make my own stencils. I'll make my own texture.
Yeah.
And then I got on Facebook Marketplace and I got a cricket maker for like $100 from some lady who didn't want it. I was like, all right, I'll try this, So I started making like craft foam,
Yeah.
just
Oh
let me.
wow.
Then I roll it into the clay, and then that's my texture that way.
So now you can use it like, both different levels and layers of it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then these also, I would put these on like on this, say this plate, I would put these on here like that, and then I would trace it with a pencil and then paint the flowers. So, but now I just draw them.
Yeah.
So then the other day I was like, let me try that with some cardstock. And then I just put it on there, wet it, and then
Use
slip
it as
over.
resist. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many ways you can play with that too. Like, I mean, we're kind of similar. We use a lot of like different experimental resist type things and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I use garage sale stickers. I use like the weirdest shit and like gives me cool looks. Like that little like star that I did on there. That's just a garage sale sticker.
Yep.
So yeah, I did this up at BG and I showed them how I did this and I was like, so I put down like light blue, and then I painted just that spot orange. Then I put the sticker on it, and then I did dark blue over it, so it almost looks like I painted in the star, but it's just a resist. And
yeah,
it's easy, man.
Here's a weird question. Do you have a hot tub?
No, I don't.
All right, so I got a hot tub. We bought one a couple years ago.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I could probably use one for my back. But
oh, dude, they're the best. But I'll sit in it. We're in upstate New York, so 6 months a year it's freaking 40 degrees. So we sit in it every day. But I'll sit in there and just think of like you were just talking about. Sometimes that takes a lot of thought. You're like, okay, so if I want this to be blue and then that to be white, I got to do this first, then that, and then you got to wax that, and then you got, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Amy Irish the other day, her texture, her depth is just like, okay, where did you start?
Yeah.
Like
that's the thing, man. It's like envisioning. I don't want to say envisioning the end game, but like just envision the process of like how to get there. Like I'm pretty good at figuring those things out now because I have just played so much.
Yeah.
Like I'm willing to screw things up to get to the next thing. So
yeah, it's almost like working backwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I for sure think that way a lot.
Yeah.
Like we backwards design. We talk about that as an educator. Just that idea of like knowing what I want as my capstone. What do I want my project to be now? How do I get there? How do I get to this step? And then just getting back to like, okay, what do I need to tell the kids from the get-go to get through all these things?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a reverse pyramid, right? So here's the piece you want to make. You need these steps to get there. Then these steps, it's like a bracket system for like the NCAA backwards.
Yeah.
So I did this one yesterday. So just for fun, I put on light blue slip there, just scratched it in with a,
Oh yeah.
Because now I'm gonna go over that with a bunch of flowers. So that'll be the back end of it. You know what I mean?
You're working layers, man. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So just kind of fun. Keeps it interesting for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of sound a little bit like me in the sense of like, I don't want to say I get bored, but I get bored. So it's like, I have to constantly do different things. I told the kids at BG on Wednesday, I was like, you could own, let's say I've sold 2,000 cups. You could own every single one, and every single one is different. They might be a tumbler. They might have stripes. Like, they might have a cat on the front. But, dude, different colors, different mark making, different transfers, like, all different.
Yeah, and it's like whatever comes out while you're making that mug. Hold on, dog's back.
Like, just disappears.
She's covered in snow. Dude, that's funny. So, if you want to tell, this is a live podcast, right? Hold on, I got to get the dog.
Do you go back in and cut a lot of stuff out, or do you, like...
No. Most of the time, I just let it roll,
Let it roll.
Yeah, and my buddy Marshall, he was episode 1 there. He's like, no, it's kind of cool the way it is. It's kind of like, listening in on a conversation between two artists. It's kind of fun. So
sure. Yeah. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, having at it. Speaking of decoration, where did Riot come from anyway?
A lot of my work, like I went to Europe with my school that I teach at. I got to go to London, and I got to go to, we hit Paris, and then we did Florence and Rome, and like very fortunate, man. I got hired at this school like 13 years ago because, dude, that was a free trip. Like I got to go do this this is something that I'd have never got to do if I was at my old little country rural school. You know, I'm in a very
That's
affluent
badass. Yep.
school, to say the least. You know, so um, yeah, I got to go to Europe. We did like a street art tour when we were in London. I went through Shoreditch,
Yep.
and it was just probably the one. I got to go to the Louvre. I got to go see David.
Wow.
I got to see the Mona Lisa. I got to go see everything. And like the one thing that stuck with me when I came home was like all the graffiti.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where like I remember taking a photo of one wall that had the word riot on it. I have like, it was honestly supposed to be almost like a series when I first started doing some of this stuff. Like I had done a cup with the word fire on it. I was going to do one with like chaos.
Yep.
I have no idea how riot ended up sticking. If like I just got some feedback and it was like positive and I just kept doing it and then like it stuck. You know, it's I don't even sign my work anymore. That just is.
Yeah.
That's my signature. You know, so yeah, man. To me, it's just like carpe diem. It's kind of like that idea of memento mori. You know, you're only gonna live once. You're only gonna live so long. Like, live your life, enjoy it. And...
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. My brother's a pastor down in Texas. Actually, he's a businessman first. He's a CEO of this big company.
Really?
But he's also a pastor. You know, he was just in USA Today the other day. He's big time.
No way.
Yeah, he's like a Steve Jobs dude. He's
really.
Yeah, he's freaking brilliant. I had a teacher in high school say, "Your brother's so smart. What happened to you?" I was like, "Wait a second. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to say that to a kid."
You can think that, but you shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe he said that. But you know, in his defense, I was a little jerk, so I apologize to that teacher if he's still alive. Yeah, I wish I could go back. But speaking of teachers, my ex-wife is an art teacher, so I have the utmost respect for what you guys do. Yeah, my daughter.
That's awesome, man.
My daughter can paint and draw like there's no tomorrow. It's unbelievable. But I mean, just being a teacher is, first of all, you guys are godsends, and I think you should be paid the most in anyone in the world, right?
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I was gonna say where I'm at. I always feel bad. I do feel fortunate. Like, here's the deal: is though I live 40 minutes from where I teach. I couldn't afford to live where I teach. Like, the houses are insanely priced. The taxes are through the roof. Like, I could live there, but I'd be very like mediocre to average. Like, I live well where I'm at.
Yep.
Because of the salary I'm making, and I don't live in the district, which is sad. Like, you can't even live where you teach almost, you know? Like,
yeah.
But it is what it is, man. You know, we make do. I enjoy living outside of where I teach too, because dude, if I go buy a 12-pack of beer, like, it's not that I feel bad if I saw a kid, but I also don't want to see a kid like every time I'm doing anything.
I saw Mr. Young the other day. He was hammered.
Mr. Young was drinking a beer. It was crazy. Yep, we do that.
We do.
Because I teach you, I have to drink.
Have you met yourself, kid?
Yeah. Do you know your friends? Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, I know all about that. I grew up on the North Shore of Long Island.
Okay.
In a little town called Bayville, and Locust Valley was my high school. And you know Sbarro's Pizza in the.
Yeah.
I went to high school with Stella Sbarro.
Really?
Yeah. So all my friends were. I was the caddy, and they were members at the club.
Wow.
You know, it's a super wealthy area. John Gotti's house was like right down the street from where I grew up. John
really?
Yeah, so it's like I know all about living in a rich area with no money.
Yeah. And it's like, and people are always like, oh, you teach rich kids. I'm like, well, a lot of them are wealthy. You know, some aren't, but it's also one of those, like, they're really respectful, man. Like, I have kids that walk out of my room I think it's my 11th year there. Walk out of my room every single day and say thank you to me, which is, I don't know at what point in their lives they were coached to do this, if it's their parents, if there's elementary teachers that tell the kids to do this, because there's no way these kids like just started doing this on their own. But like, I have a kid in almost every class say thank you as they walk out.
Wow, that's huge.
And it still shocks me. Like, I'm 11 years in and they still do it, and I'm like, this never happened in my previous 8 years before I got there. You know, like.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. The kids are respectful. I have no behavior issues, man. Like,
wow.
Like, my kids come in and they work hard, and there's kids that, like, they aren't great at art, they aren't talented, but they're just at least appreciative of you trying to show them something.
Yeah.
And It's wild, dude. Like I almost feel like I'm gonna show them like how to do something on me. They're gonna be like, dude, you're a nerd. What are you like? We don't want to do this. Boo. And they like they just do things. Like they just work. They all try. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is wild. Like
Yeah. That's very
it's
cool.
refreshing.
Kudos to their parents. I
Yeah.
had a kid come for a golf lesson a couple of summers ago, and we start hitting balls on the range, and he's got one earbud in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, "What do you got going on there? Is that thing off?" He's like, "No, I got music on there." I said, "Well, no."
Yeah,
I
dude.
was like, take that out. Your parents are paying me $100 an hour to watch you hit golf balls. Like, if you want to listen to music, go ahead, and I'll just go over here and hit golf balls and take your parents' money. But you want to learn something, turn that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they can't help themselves, man. Like we've installed a policy at our school where we check their phones into it's like a calculator holder, that would hang on a wall.
Yep.
And I don't really enforce it that much. I'm pretty laid back, but I like when I am going to do a lecture or I'm doing any demo.
Yep.
I have them check their phones in because they can't help themselves, dude. They are so used to having that thing.
No. Yep.
On their hip or in their hand at all times. Like you got to take it away from them at points.
I get it too. Like my stepson. He sometimes he'll just lay on the couch, just boom.
Yeah, mindless.
He's gone. And then, like, what did he do? He lost his phone for something, and then he was like in the studio making something, and he was out goofing around. I'm like, look at you, like you're like, it's like watering a plant that hasn't had water in a year. You just come alive when you turn that thing off, and I get it. Like if I had that when I was a kid, I had the world at my fingertips. Why would I do anything else?
Yeah, it is tough, man. It's like the one thing we try and talk to our kids a lot at school is just like, just recognize that you're addicted to it, and not like everyone is, but like recognize like how you're spending your time. Is it valuable? When you look up after 2 hours of just doom scrolling, like do you feel fulfilled? Like, come on, like you could have been doing anything. Yeah. Like my one daughter is only 9, and she'll be on like an iPad or something. Then she just gets up and goes and plays with her babies, or like goes and like chases the cat or does whatever. And it's like she gets bored to the point where like you can see like she wants to do other things, and I'm like, thank God. Like you got to realize at some point like this is not good. This is why half of America's obese and we're all brainwashed and like.
Yep. Oh, facts. Yep. I'm very lucky. My daughter's the same way as yours. She's, she will turn it off and do something else, which is great. And then, but a lot of times that puts the onus back on you as a parent, where you're like, all right, turn that thing off. And they're like, okay, now what do you want to do? I'm like, wait, I have to entertain you? Shit, turn that thing back on.
Yeah. Hey, go see if your friend down the road wants to play.
Yeah. Which is, now I know why my parents were not around all the time, because they didn't want to entertain me all the time.
Yeah, it is a lot. Like it goes back and forth. It's like I don't mind them doing it sometimes, but I also know that in the grand scheme of things, they don't need to be on there.
No, and sometimes I'm like, hey, turn that off, and then I'm playing Block Blast for a half hour.
Yeah, you're doing the same thing.
Oh, that stupid game! I've deleted it so many times. And then my kids are like, "Well, what's your high score?" I'm like 15,000. Like mine's 40. I'm like, wait, what?
Why am I so good at this?
Why do I suck at this? So what clay do you use? Are you a porcelain guy, or is that a white stone?
No, I'm just using Laguna B Mix, man, mid range.
Nice.
We got using that at school. We flipped over to it how many years ago, and I got used to it. I feel like that for most people. If you get used to it, if it doesn't give you problems, you stick with it. So
stick with it.
I've used porcelain because like I went and fired with Justin Reese up in Youngstown.
Oh yeah.
He's got a soda kiln up there, and like he's like, oh, you got to get some like porcelain. Go get Mathers, blah blah blah, at Columbus Clay, which is where we get a lot of our stuff around here. And it's like, okay, so I did that. Man, that was a learning curve because porcelain's its own beast.
Yeah.
Just so loose, and things I was doing with B Mix where it held structure, and porcelain was just like just did whatever it wanted on me.
I tell people on this show, when I first learned I taught myself how to throw by watching Simon Leach and Tim C on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I was addicted to the wheel and the process and the eye-hand coordination part of it.
Yeah.
Was like, I'm going to get this. And there's a really famous teacher from Alfred named Wayne Higby.
I know the name, yeah.
You know, Wayne, he did a lot of big raku pieces, and he did these wall installations at like an airport in China, like $1 million installation. And one of my buddies was his studio assistant. So he was making these bricks, like 8x4 bricks, and he would put them through a CNC machine. They were porcelain, and it would cut them, and stuff would go flying everywhere, and they would scoop it off the floor, all these pieces of porcelain. And they had these blue bins full of porcelain. My buddy said, "You want some clay?" I said, "Hell yeah, I'll take all of that." So I taught myself how to throw using porcelain that was made for tile.
Wow.
Dude. Oh.
Did it throw like compared to porcelain you get from wherever?
No. It was terrible. I thought I was a spaz for like 2 years.
Yeah. The clay makes a difference. Like, people don't realize, like, it's a big difference.
Oh yeah, and then I went to a bag of just a bag of stoneware one time, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was off to the races. But now I'm mostly hand building. I switched to hand building a couple of years ago because I feel like with hand building I can make any form I want.
Yeah. I mean, the wheel limits you. Like, you're not making those big trays and platters and things on the wheel. Like,
yeah. No.
They just don't make sense.
No. I mean, you could throw part of it, but everything you throw, you got to alter afterwards.
Yeah.
Like trimming. Like these things take away that step of trimming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So when I make it thin enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's a consistent base every single time. And what's really fun about these, as I was telling Amy Irish, is that if you do bowls like this, they become stackable bowls.
Oh yeah, because they're
you ever try to throw a stacking set and they're all like weird?
Yeah, man. There's so many things like that.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? So you got your own. You're selling your stencils now, Riot Transfers?
The transfers, yeah, man. I've been doing those. It was just one of those things where, like, I use a lawn transfer, Sandbow.
Yep.
They basically sponsor me. They give me so much money per month that I get to, like, go and get their products, and I still use them, and I will continue because I need the variety. But, like, there's just these ideas or these designs in my head, and I'm like, I need to make my own. And I really looked hardcore into, like, printing my own. Like, I wanted to source the paper, create screens. I wanted to screen my own. I know Plum Island's another one that I use. She's in, like, Massachusetts or somewhere. I can't remember. But she screens her own and is selling her own that she's actually making in-house. And I'm like, okay. So I basically conferenced with her and was like, okay, I want to do this too. And, like, she would help me out as much as she could, but she goes, I can't give you my paper source. And I'm like, there was just so many learning curves. I said, you know what? This is too much. Like, the main thing I want is my idea. Quality, like, I have to, like, have quality, especially if I'm going to sell these. And I don't want to go through the learning curve and spend a year trying to do this. So, like, I just ended up printing through Sandbow, which is the company I get them from all the time anyway. So, yeah, man. So I got, like, 10 designs printed. I think I did, like, 100 prints of each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got them pretty cheap through them, and I sell them for a little bit of profit. And it was more just about getting my idea down rather than making money, but we'll see. The goal is obviously long-term, maybe it's something that is like a little extra side passive income, but
I made a logo 2 years ago of a golfer, like, just like, slamming his club. It's called the Angry Golfer.
Yeah.
We call it the Whack F Company. I'll tell you that later. But, I got a guy who's a designer. Actually, I was playing golf with one guy, owns an advertising agency. And I said, hey, I should have you guys do our logo. And he goes, no, you don't want us doing your logo. I said, well, why not? He said, because it'll be $35,000.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? Yeah. He does, like, Titleist. He's big company. So he goes, but just here's Paul's email. He's the head of my art department. So I sent this guy an email, and I said, I'll trade you a couple rounds of golf. And he's sure, and he sent me 16 different logo options. So the logo turned into a really cool logo.
Yeah.
And I got t-shirts made and hats made, and I'm like, okay, but now I'm still paying, $9 per hat plus putting this on it, and I got to sell them for $30. I'm like, where do I want the hat? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's always so much like, well, that's a whole nother level. You got to buy 9,000 hats at a time, and
yeah, you got to do quantity. That's what I had to do, man. I had to buy. I think on their site it says you need to buy 500 sheets, or I can't remember what it is, or whatever. But it's like I had to buy so much to get the discounted rate, and I was fine with that because I wanted to sell them and stuff. But man, I got a bunch sitting behind me. So it's like I'm planning on taking a bunch to Ensika this year, which I think I'll sell quite a bit there. We'll see, but
yeah. Do you put those on bone dry or is that leather hard?
I do on bisqueware, man. I'm doing it right on here, like as I'm going. Like that's one of my designs, that black over the orange.
Yeah. So you just wet it.
I do it on bisque. They will go on bone dry. They will go on leather hard. They will go on whatever. But I like doing it on this because this is when I do my like surface work. So
yeah, I'm just thinking that'd be fun to do like.
Oh yeah. Dude.
If I could do that beforehand and then do flowers over it, I might have to get some.
You could for sure. Yeah, dude, I can send you some. They're easy to use. They actually, personally, I think they apply better to like leather hard work because that moisture in the clay, like they tend to peel better. But like mine, they kind of, I peel them off a little premature and they kind of get a little tattered, weathered look. But that's what I want.
I'd like to try it on like leather hard to bone dry with terra sigillata. Oh
yeah, I mean you could put it over the terra sig. You could do a lot of things, man.
All right, that sounds fun. Yeah, I'll have to grab some of those for you. Let's see, what else do I got here? See, we like I told you, we might not touch on any of this.
You got the list.
We're at an hour and 10 minutes. We haven't touched on any of this. Let's see. So, Justin Reese, you said you threw with him. He's a blast, isn't he?
Dude, he's a good dude. Yeah,
he's a good kid. He's supposed to be on the show, but he's busy right now. He said, "I'll get back to you." So okay.
Yeah, he's down in Columbus now, and he went through it with his fam and stuff, like got a divorce and stuff. So like I know like he's just trying to be a good dad and trying to get back on his pottery adventure. You know,
yeah, which is fantastic. I'm so excited that he's getting time to hang out with his girls and do his thing.
Yeah, man.
That's why I'm like, whenever you're ready, you let me know. We'll have a chat on the thing. But I love to see him at Ensika because he's such a nice, peaceful, cool kid.
He is a good dude, and like he was one of those guys where like I was just watching him build that kiln in Youngstown. And I just messaged him like, dude, this is awesome. Like, keep hustling, whatever. You know, like I'm just always trying to like encourage people. But he's like, when are you gonna come up and fire with me? And I was like, what? Like open invite? I'm like, but that's also what I love about the like pottery community. Like that's how most people are.
Yeah, I think I talk about that on pretty much every show too. Is one of the reasons I love doing this. Is potters are just freaking cool people, man.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hang out with them all. I want to go make pots with people. So
yeah, my dude I teach with, he's a couple doors down. He's the painting teacher. He's absolutely phenomenal. One of the best like high school painting teachers in the country, dude. Like professional artist, sells in big galleries. His name's Grant Gilsdorf. But like, he's always like, I'm so jealous of you. Like you have this community. Like you go to Ensika. Like he knows what this is and how much it means to me. And he's like, God, you're so lucky. Painters just suck, man. We're like there's no like sharing and tips and like you wouldn't get on a podcast with a painter.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you guys do stuff. Yeah.
I still might go to Ensika. I'm still kicking it around. I might just in the last minute just fly out there.
Yeah. This one's tough because it's so far for East Coasters. I get it. Dude, a ticket's like I dropped like I think mine was like 800. I could have got it for around 600, but I got one-way direct flights back and forth. No stops. I'm like, done. I don't care if I pay an extra 150. Like,
yeah. Actually, I think next year at Detroit, I might get a booth for Between Two Ewers.
Ooh,
just on the main floor, and just
you could potentially set up at. We had someone do this at our other one too. I think it was when we were in Cincy. Set up like at our. Our Pot Star sale.
Oh yeah,
and they were doing like interviews out in the beer hall area.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Like I was thinking of just sitting there with Between Two Ewers sign and just people walk by and go, "Hey, come here,"
just talk to
me. Just on the spot. Let's do it. That's how I like to roll. But
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're almost at the end here. Shit, we're at an hour and 15 minutes already. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, dude, we'll have to jump on some time and just like Instagram Live it or something maybe too, just for fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, we got to do this some more. There's something here, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. So So let's end with your website, places to buy your work,
Okay.
and a tip.
Okay. I was gonna say Riot Transfers. That's my like transfer company, so that's separate from like where I sell my personal work.
Yep.
Um,
Is
I
that
debated on that.
riottransfers.com?
Yep, yep. And I debated on that, like to combine my work with that, but I wanted it to be separate. And I do my sales of my like work through Etsy, which I've got a sale coming up. I don't know, with our work, end of the week. So
Oh yeah,
I'm
they
not
got the
sure what.
collab piece there too.
What's that?
We got that collab piece too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
that's
that guy
cool.
there. You haven't seen the other one yet.
Dude,
So I
I
got
love
this.
how that's kind of like black and white.
So I
Oh,
got that little dude too. What
yeah.
do you consider this? I considered it like a little like creamer
Yeah.
pour.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy was fun too. Really wild on him.
Dude, very cool.
Yeah, I think I like doing these just because like it challenges me, man. Because your forums are so different than like this person and that person. I actually specifically drank out of this mug this morning because
Yeah,
this
that's
is
a
Nathan
brand.
Bray. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like this was the first person I collaborated with back in the day. You know, he was
Really?
the one guy that I like threw a message out to, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, let's do it." And I was like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna collab. Like, I want to do this." And like, someone said yes, and
Yeah. He makes really cool stuff.
his work's awesome, dude. And it's one of those things where like, well, that'll be kind of my tip here in a minute. But yeah, I sell my work through Etsy. I mean, you can find me on Instagram at Riot Ceramics. I think it's Riot_Ceramics because someone else took my name well into when I had kind of developed my brand. But you know, it is what it is.
Sure.
You'll find me. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, my Etsy's through that. You can
And there's probably a link. You probably got a link on your Instagram.
I got a link on my Instagram that'll get you to all these things. I got merch. I got all kinds of crap in there. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Very cool. All right, buddy. Well, I mean, this has been awesome. I could spend another 45 minutes easy chatting with you, but I got to go shovel the driveway, apparently.
I got to make sure my kids are awake or they won't sleep tonight.
It's the little things, isn't it?
Yeah, dude.
So give us a great tip that either like you have learned, somebody taught you, whether it's a life tip, clay tip. What do you got?
So I almost started like divulging when I was holding this up, but I would challenge people to like collaborate with someone. Like maybe it's someone in like your home studio or like your home studio, your community studio. Maybe reach out to somebody, but like I'm not gonna lie, these feet are awesome.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know why maybe Nathan did these feet until I got it, and then I looked at his cup and I'm like, oh, it's because his glazes run.
Yeah.
And he's trying to like lift his like. There's always like a reason why people do things, and then it also when I got it, like so people send me bisqueware. You sent me bisqueware, right? Like I'm holding it and I'm like, holy shit, this is so light. This is like I'm talking to bisqueware. I'm like,
Really?
I'm comparing it to my bisqueware, and I'm going. I got to get better. Like it challenged me to make my work better because I started holding other people's work, you know, and just having cups in your cupboard like you and I both do. Like,
Yeah.
there's little things to each one of like what I like, maybe what I dislike, and you get to like start to recognize those things. Like I think just even holding someone else's bisque, like made me realize like my work could be lighter. My work was a little chunky like 5 years ago. Like, yeah, and then just working on different forms. Like, what am I gonna do if I got these feet and I'm working underneath of it? And you know, how am I gonna navigate this challenge? Like, I think I started wanting to do some more, like these guys. I gotta get one of these guys from back here. I started doing some more like, this is my taco cat.
Love it.
I started doing some more like sculptural pieces where I put my surface work on just because like of collabs. Like I collabed with my one dude out in Fork Boy Pottery out in like Washington. I think he's in Seattle. You know, and he sent me these sharks, and they're like this big, and these were the coolest things I had worked on. And I was like, I want to do more of this. Like it just opened up avenues, got me thinking about different things other than you know a mug.
Yeah. So collab with as many people as you can.
Yeah, dude, give it a go.
Brian Hopkins out of Buffalo. Have you seen his porcelain?
I got one of his cups. Yeah,
dude, I could throw that thing 100 yards. It's got a way like it weighs.
He's
and
slip
then
casting. Yep.
Oh, it's freaking beautiful too. And you see what he did the other day? He stood on it.
Did he really?
Yeah,
he's that strong though. Actually, yeah.
With the uneven lip, he put it on the floor, put the camera right here, and stood on it just to show you how strong porcelain can be slip cast. I was like, wow.
Yeah, because those are thin, dude. I got one in my cupboard. They're super light. It
Yeah.
scares me. Like I'm gonna dink it sometime.
Yeah, I know. That one sits up on the shelf as well. But
Yeah,
Tony, this has been freaking awesome, dude. I really
yeah,
appreciate it.
man.
Yeah. We're gonna have
Glad
to
I
do
got
this
to
again.
hang, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I appreciate you. You rock. And send me a duck, dude.
Yeah, I will. I'll get you a big guy.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
Yeah, you too, man. See ya.
See ya.